Speaking of the WWE Network, we got some more news in this week's Observer on the discussions of shifting some or all of the WWE pay-per-views off the network onto another platform. Now, no deal has been made yet, but there have been talks between WWE and ESPN regarding content on their ESPN Plus service. I have to assume they've had conversations with a whole bunch of different platforms, probably Hulu and others as well. But the ESPN Plus one is very interesting. They are in talks with the mouse, is basically what that means. Disney and WWE potentially doing business together. We knew this day would come. WWE is said to have taken note of UFC's deal with ESPN Plus, which in this country at least, you need to have a subscription to the service in order to access UFC pay-per-views. But the way it works is you pay a subscription fee for ESPN Plus, which is $4.99 a month, or for the year, basically it's $49.99 for the year. And on top of that, at least for the UFC pay-per-views, you would still pay full price for them. Now, I know their pay-per-views were $59.99. Now they've reverted back to their old pay-per-view price of $64.99. I believe that started with the Conor McGregor fight last month. They're $5 more now. That's a lot of money that people are expected to shell out for these shows. Just like we had the big boxing pay-per-view last night, right? With Tyson Fury winning, and I'm sure we'll end up seeing him on WWE television soon after that. But I don't know what the price tag was for the pay-per-view, but I'm sure it was pretty steep. You know, for big events like that, for big combat sport shows, I'm sure people are willing to plunk down however much money it is. But you got to ask yourself, you know, for a WWE event, even the biggest ones, are people, if it was to work the same way, would people be willing to spend that kind of money on WWE shows after spending $10 for so many years? And in a lot of cases, people weren't even paying $10. People were getting it for free. People were constantly being comped and getting free trials over and over and over again to the network. There are people who have probably been watching all the shows and haven't paid a dime. I'm the schmuck that's been paying $9.99 from day one. But that's the way it works for UFC shows on the service. The McGregor fight last month, that fight made Disney a lot of money. Because according to Bob Iger's the head of Disney, he gave an interview a few weeks ago and said that one fight, basically, that one show added 500,000 new subscribers to their service. You know, that pay-per-view itself did about 1 million buys, which is actually low for a Conor McGregor fight. But ESPN Plus, they cleaned up. They picked up a ton of new subs out of that fight. And WWE feels that if they can make a similar deal for its shows, they'll make a lot more money off them than they would, I guess, just selling them directly through their own network. And they're probably right. But if they reach a deal and it works similar to UFC, where WWE fans are paying $4.99 a month, let's say they are already paying $9.99 for the network. And I'm sure WWE doesn't want people to cancel. So they expect, all right, you're paying $9.99 for their network. Now you're going to pay $4.99 on top of that each month for ESPN Plus, which is $50 for the year. And on top of that, let's say at least for like a WrestleMania, you would pay an additional $50 or $60. I mean, it's going to gut their own network. We already know that. But they're taking a gamble that financially this type of deal is going to pay off for them a lot more than just offering the shows for $10 on their own network. But again, when you offer people something for such a low price for so long, a lot of those same people are not going to suddenly pay full price for these shows on top of a subscription fee for another service. Now, some people will. You know, I'd have to because I need to review the shows. But a lot of people are simply not going to do it. They're going to throw their hands up in the air and say, the hell with this. I'm done. This is too much. Some people can't do it financially. Do people still feel that WWE pay-per-views are worth $50 or $60? I don't think they are. Not every month. You know, the big shows like Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, maybe SummerSlam, okay, maybe. But all 12 shows each month? Absolutely not. Now, if they reach a deal and all people have to pay is the extra subscriber fee, so all you're responsible for is the $4.99 each month, and they don't charge people full price for the shows on top of that, then that's much more palatable for people. And some people still won't do it. Some people would still say it's not worth it. But that's a lot easier of a pill to swallow, though. So, and all the people saying this is a great deal because it would force WWE to load up the shows and make them worthwhile. First of all, that's an admission that the shows they do now are not worthwhile, which is a really shitty thing. Second of all, it doesn't guarantee a damn thing. Load them up with what? I've heard people make this argument this week, and I would love to hear them explain to me. Load them up with what? Load the shows up with what exactly? You still need stars, and you need compelling storylines. Are they suddenly going to pull these things out of their ass? Is that where they've been hiding all these years? If it's that easy, then why have they been holding back on us for so long and destroying their product? If they end up going with ESPN Plus, the ideal situation would be charging people full price, let's say, for the Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and SummerSlam, maybe Money in the Bank or Survivor Series, and just let people pay the subscriber fee for all the other shows, and that's it. Or you leave those other shows. All the so-called B shows, you leave those shows with the Saudi shows, with the NXT TakeOver shows. You leave all of those as exclusive to the WWE Network. Because you got to give people some reason to hang on to their network sub. Not everybody is subscribing just to watch old episodes of Primetime Wrestling and Smoky Mountain or whatever the hell they have up there. You got to give people a reason to stay. Otherwise, you're going to just end up with a mass exodus.